Hello everyone, so today we will be discussing all about the user manual of a personal computer. So let's get started. So the first component that we have is the monitor. So it is an electronic output device and used to show information entered and processed by a computer. So the second one is the keyboard. It is an input device that allows users to enter text and functions into the computer. And the next one is the mouse. Typically regulates the two-dimensional mobility of a pointer in a graphical user interface. The mouse converts hand motions backwards and forward, left and right, into the electrical impulses that are then utilized to move the pointer. So the next one is the power cord. It is a cable used to connect the computer's power supply unit to a power source. So the next one is the hard disk drive. A hard drive's primary role is to permanently store information, files, and other documents while also allowing data retrieval. So the next one is the power supply. This is the power supply. It is a hardware device that transforms alternating current into direct current and distributes it to the rest of the computer. So the next one is the fan, and it works to disperse heat by blowing air over hot computer components such as the central processor unit or the CPU, graphics processing unit, and other internal components.
And now I'm going to present the different ports of this system unit. So the first one is the power port. It is a port that facilitates the transfer of electrical energy from a power source to the computer. Then next one is the PS2 port. It is used for connecting keyboards and mouse. So itong green is for mouse and itong violet is for keyboard. Then next one naman is si DVI, or Digital Video Interface. It is used to connect a video source such as video display controller to a display device such as computer monitor. Then next is the serial port. It is a serial communication interface through which information transfers in or out sequentially one bit at a time. So ito naman is the Video Graphic Array Port or VGA, used to connect video output devices to computers and projectors. So, after mo siya makonect, madi-display siya sa monitor and TV na ginagamit mo. So, next one is the USB port. So, meron ditong 4 na USB port and it allows the USB devices to be connected to the computer and allows the transfer of digital data. So, pwede ka rin dito mag-insert ng pang keyboard and pang mouse. Then next is the Ethernet port. Ito naman yung nag-a-allow sa computer to connect to the internet. So once na nakakonect na, pwede ka nang mag-browse sa Google and kung saan mo pa gusto. The next one is audio ports. Ito yung sound between the computer and its connected audio devices. For this port naman is itong red is for microphone, itong green ay line out, and itong blue is line in blue.
And so drives, cables, and connectors. So for the first one, we have hard disk drive. So a hard disk drive is called a fixed disk, meaning it is used for a permanent storage and it is non-volatile, which means that data can be retained even when the computer is off. For the second one, we have a solid-state drive. So, ang solid-state drive naman ay gumagamit siya ng flash memory to store data and hindi siya gumagalaw, meaning mas reliable siya kumpara sa HDD and it requires less power and produces less heat. At ang last one naman is ang optical disk drive. So, ang optical disk drive uses laser light and electromagnetic waves within the visible light spectrum in order to process or read the data of an optical disc. So for the cables naman, ang una dito ay ang HDMI cable. So HDMI is also known as High Definition Media Interface. So it is a type of computer cable that is used to display crystal clear images and is mainly used to transmit high-definition video and audio signals. For the second one is the VGA cable. It is also called as Video Graphics Array cable. So it is a type of cable that is used for video signals and is used to link the monitor and the CPU of a computer together. The DVI cable, it is a digital video interface cable. So it is a type of computer cable that is used to connect the LCD monitor and the graphics video card. So this cable can be distinguished by identifying if a flat pin has 4 pins around. So the Ethernet cable. So an Ethernet cable is a type of computer cable that is used for wired networks. So this is commonly used for switches like monitors and PCs to connect to a local area network. A PS2 cable. So a PS2 cable is a kind of computer cable that is used to connect mouse and keyboard to a computer. And an audio cable. So it is a type of computer cable which is used primarily in computer audio applications. So for the next type of cable is the USB cables. It is also called as the universal serial bus. It is a type of cable that is considered as universal because it is also mainly used for short distance digital communications. But an instant unplugging of this type of cable can cause harm to a device, which is why we should eject it first. The next one is the firewire connector. It is classified as a high-performance interface designed to facilitate fast and effective data transfer between electronic devices. So it is equipped with multiple pins arranged in a specific configuration and securing a stable and reliable connection. So for the last one is the Thunderbolt connector. So a Thunderbolt connector is a type of connector featuring a lightning symbol. So it supports high-speed transfers, video output, and power delivery between devices. So the next one is a SATA connector. So it is a connector commonly used in computer systems to connect various storage devices such as a hard drive, solid-state drive, and an optical drive. The last one are power cords. So a power cord is actually designed for a secure connection to ensure a stable power supply to a computer. A desktop power cord connector often has a 3-pronged block.
So now we will talk about the microprocessor, motherboard, and the storage devices. So microprocessor is a computer processor in which the data processing logic and control are contained on a single integrated circuit or a small number of ICs. So the next one is the motherboard. So the motherboard is basically the brain of the computer. And then the next one is the random access memory, and its system's main memory serves the primary purpose of temporarily storing the data. The next one is the read-only memory, and this is also known as non-volatile memory. So for the next one is the floppy disk. So the next one is the floppy disk. It is a sort of storage device that is utilized on a personal basis in a computer. So the next storage device is the hard disk. It is a hard disk drive that stores and retrieves data using magnetic storage. The next one is the magnetic disk. It is a card that stores data by changing or reorganizing the magnetism of microscopic metal magnetic nanoparticles on the card's band. And the next is the SSD, and it refers to the sort of mass storage technology similar to hard disk drives known as the SSD. And the next one is the SD card. It is known as a contactless smart card. It is widely utilized to store more data on electronic devices such as phones and cameras. The next one is the memory card. It is widely used in digital cameras, printers, gaming, and other electronic equipment.
So here is the step-by-step on disassembling the system unit. So the first one is to unscrew the side panel, and then the second one is to disconnect all the power cables, and then the third one is to remove the hard drive and remove the optical disc drive. So for the fifth step, unscrew the power supply from the case and unscrew and remove the fan. Carefully unscrew and remove the motherboard from the case. Release the tabs on either side. Carefully unscrew and remove the motherboard from the case. Release the tabs on either side of the RAM slots and carefully remove it. Unscrew cooling fan and carefully remove it. Pull up the pin to open the CPU socket. And lastly, carefully remove the CPU.
And now I am going to discuss on how to assemble a system unit. So there are 11 steps, and the first step is to carefully put the CPU and close the lid to secure the CPU. Second step is to connect the cooling to the motherboard. Third step, insert the RAM and lock the tabs. Fourth step, carefully place the motherboard to the case and tightly screw it. Step 5, insert the RAM and lock the tabs. Step 6, place the power supply into the case and screw it tightly. Step 7, insert the optical drive. Step 8, insert the hard disk and screw it tightly. And step 9, put the fan on the side of the case and screw it tightly. Step 10, plug in all the wirings to the motherboard. And for the last step, place and screw the side panel. And here you will see the finished product.
So now we will be discussing the Windows operating system installation. So the first step is to insert a flash drive, and then the second one is to make sure that you have a product key. Para malaman kung may product key, go to settings and search for activation. And here you can see na meron tayong product key. So now we will go to a web and search for software download. And since ang aking computer ay Windows 11 na, we will choose the Windows 11 and download na. After it downloaded, open the file, click yes, and accept and install. So wait for it to download. And wait for all the steps to finish.
After downloading all the steps, ganito ang lalabas. And then, click Restart Now. And after that, okay na.
In the manual, we'll be able to show how to update the OS of your computer. First up is to press the Start. Then search for Settings. In Settings, search for Windows Update. In Windows Update, press the Check for Updates button. And once it shows that if there are any updates, press Install Updates for the updates to be installed right away in your computer. As you can see, the update has begun installing in the computer right now. The user manual also allows you to manage or update your Windows operating system user accounts. Here are the steps so you can see your account details. First is open Settings. Then in Settings, go to Accounts. Under Accounts, you should find Your Info button and press it. You just now have to confirm the details of your account, and that's all. Next is steps in switching Microsoft or local account. First, it's usually you go to Settings, but we're already here. Next is Accounts. Go back to Accounts. And then you go to Your Info. Depending if you're using a local or Microsoft account, you press the sign in with a Microsoft account instead. And you just follow the directions of the on-screen directions from there. Next is changing the account picture. This is the same, the first few steps is the same. So the details until you go to Your Info. Here, under the Adjust Your Photo, you can either take a photo or choose a file. And then after choosing one, you have to choose a photo that you like. And then once you've chosen one, click OK, and that will become your photo. And next is adding email accounts in the computer. It's basically the first two steps is the same as the others under Accounts. Then scroll down and go to Email and Accounts. Under the accounts used by email, calendars, and contacts, you will have to click the Add Account button. After clicking the Adding Account button, you just have to choose the provider you want to add. After that, follow the on-screen directions. Next is opening or adding accounts for work. The directions are the same for until email and accounts, and then go to accounts used by other apps. Then click and add a Microsoft account account or add a work or school account. From there, you just have to follow the directions on screen directions. Next is changing a password. The first two steps is the same, from going to accounts and then accounts and then scroll down to sign in options. From there, you can change the password of your computer for whenever you want to access or sign in about to it. Click the change button to changing the password and follow the on-screen directions from there. Next is setting up a hello pin, which is basically the same as the password, as you can find the hello pin here. By pressing it and pressing the setup or change pin button, you can add a pin to your computer. Follow the on-screen directions from there, as I want to keep the privacy of my computer. Next is picture password, which is also the same steps here, where you have to find the picture password in the signing options. And you just have to click add and sign in sign in the password to your computer. After that, you just have to choose the photo, choose picture, and then choose a photo you want to use for your picture password. Once done, all you have to do is follow the on-screen directions from there. Next is setting up require sign in to wave. Instead, the steps are the same until two accounts, and go to signing options. With signing options, then in additional settings, in that if you've been away when you and should Windows require you to sign in. Here in this drop-down menu, you can choose when the Windows will require you to sign in once more. Next up is setting up a dynamic lock, which for the first step is just go to settings, but this time we go to Bluetooth and devices, and then we just set up a Bluetooth connection with a random device. And once you set up a Bluetooth connection, you go back to accounts, then go to sign-in options. Scroll down to dynamic lock and then press it to expand, and you can allow, or clicking this will allow any dynamic lock to be enabled. Next is connecting to an organization on Windows. Here you have to go to accounts, and then scroll down to access work or school. Here, click the connect button. After clicking the connect button, you have to confirm your school or work account and follow down the screen directions. Next is the hardest part, connecting to a family account. Here, you just have to go to accounts and then go to family. This is usually done if you sign in with Microsoft account. Then click on add someone. You should be click on add someone. However, since the computer is currently using a local account, it won't show anything. But after clicking on add someone, it will ask you to enter the email and then choose what member option you should choose. If you want to make a child account, you usually make the account a member. But if you want to choose an adult account, you just have to make the person an organizer, and that's all. Next is creating a non-family member account in Microsoft. we go to Accounts, and then scroll down to Other Users. Here, scroll down to Other Users. In Other Users, you can just add account and basically add the necessary account information in here. Next is steps on creating a non-family member Microsoft account. We go to still in Other Users, you can just click Add Account. But rather than putting a Microsoft email here, we press that I don't have this person signing information button. There you just have to press the Add a User without a Microsoft account, this button, and then just confirm the account information and follow the on-screen directions from there. Next is on how to remove a family account from your work group, which is actually done in the first step is done in the Windows, where you have to go to the account.microsoft.com/family page, and then click on the three-dot menu there, where you can have the option of removing an account from your family group. But the next step is in removing non-family accounts, which can be done in Other Users. And from there, if you have an extra account like this one, in sample 1, then you can press it and you can find that remove button there. There you just have to press the remove button and confirm you want to remove it. Next is managing account sync settings, which is done by going to Accounts, and scrolling down to Windows Backup. Here, since I've already verified stuff, usually done here if you aren't properly signed up with a PIN, or if you usually aren't signed up with a PIN or the identity of the device, it's going to ask you to verify first. But once you follow the on-screen directions and press verify, then it should automatically sync you up right then and there. And that's all for accounts.
Let's start with the Windows operating system security and maintenance. So for the steps on controlling automatic maintenance, let's first open the control panel. As this displays, choose system and security. After the system and security, then choose the security and maintenance. We will then have two options, which is security or maintenance. Please choose the maintenance. Then change maintenance settings. Then this automatic maintenance will display using the Run Maintenance Task Daily. At drop-down, select the time you want your system to perform the automated maintenance tasks. Let's set it to 8 a.m. and then click OK. Go.
So here's a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up a personal computer to a network. So the first step is to locate the network icon. The second step is to choose your wireless network. For the third step, we're going to click connect and then input the correct password. The last step is to connect to the network. And then we're done. So here's a step-by-step tutorial on how to connect a personal computer through a network using cable. So for the first one is to gather the correct equipment, which is an Ethernet cable. The second part is to connect the Ethernet cable to the personal computer. For the next step is to connect the other end of the cable to the router. For the fourth step is to check the network connection if it's properly working. The fifth step is to test the connection if it's working as it should. And for the last step is to troubleshoot if only necessary.
For the last part, I will be discussing the basic personal computer and Windows troubleshooting. The first step would be restarting your computer. As many issues can be resolved by simply doing this because it helps clear temporary glitches and reload system processes. The second step would be to check the power and connectors wherein the user should ensure that the computer is properly connected to power and that all cables are securely plugged in, because by checking the power and connectors, it will help identify potential issues before they escalate. The third step would be to check for error messages. Us users should pay attention to any error messages that may pop up on the screen, because these are clues about what the problem is all about. The fourth step would be to run Windows Update to ensure that Windows is up to date, as this often includes bug fixes and security patches that can resolve a wide variation of issues. The fifth step is to check internet connection. If you're experiencing internet-related issues, check your network connections, restart the router, and ensure that other devices can connect without any issues. The sixth step is to run disk cleanup. We can use the built-in disk cleanup utility to free up space on your hard drive and potentially improve system performance. For the seventh step, uninstall recently installed programs, most especially if the issue started after installing a new program. Try uninstalling it to see if it resolves the problem. For step 8, check for malware. Run a full system scan using your installed antivirus software to check for and remove any malware. Well, for the next step, do check Device Manager to ensure all hardware components are recognized and working properly. Update or reinstall drivers if necessary. Lastly, do perform a clean boot and use the System Configuration tool to perform a clean boot, disabling startup programs and non-Microsoft services to identify potential conflicts.
So that's all for the user manual of a personal computer. We hope you learned something.